That might be one of the funniest comments. That actually might be. Literally says this is a WWF intro waiting for the rest of it to come out. Greetings and salutations, everyone. Mo, that is absolutely hilarious. My name is Andrew Kiorkof, and welcome to our impromptu Monday live stream as we'll be drafting for the next hour here, answering questions, all thing fantasy football related. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing well. For those of you guys who haven't checked out the channel for quite some time and you're just scooping on by, we've been back for quite some time making daily fantasy content. So if you haven't checked out my videos, be sure to do so. Outside of that, the primary reason I join you guys here tonight on a Monday night is obviously all the information that has kind of been divulged over the course of the last couple hours in regards to Ezekiel Elliott signing with the New England Patriots. We have Dalvin Cook signing with, the New York Jets. That was anticipated, right? I feel like both of those moves were potentially in the cards, considering Dalvin Cook had a recruiting trip practically there, and he was a minus 400 favorite by Las Vegas to sign with the New York Jets. And then additionally, we had Ezekiel Elliott a couple weeks back. He visited with New England. Later that afternoon, he was seen with Mac Jones at a restaurant. Like, these things were potentially in the cards. Now they've come to fruition, and there are many of you that, of course, want to know my reactions regarding it. Of course, I'll probably have a extended breakdown tomorrow because I can talk about this kind of stuff for a while. So that'll probably be the video for tomorrow. But in terms of immediate thoughts, this is interesting. I think both these scenarios for these running backs are completely different, mainly because one of them is coming off of an ACL and the other isn't, right? Ramondre Stevenson, fully healthy, last season was still able to be a top 12 running back in fantasy football, had himself a lot of receiving help, and it was in an offense. In the last 20 years, we haven't seen a worse New England Patriots offense, quite literally. The last time they scored that few of total touchdowns was 2002. The last time they scored that few of rushing touchdowns was 2003, right? You had Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as your QB coach and offensive coordinator. Like, we're completely switching it around. That all being said, Ezekiel Elliott is a goal line back, right? And the way that Bill Belichick functions is, hey, I'm going to use these players, and for no rhyme and no reason, I'm going to make sure your fantasy team suffers, right? That is probably going to happen. And honestly, I don't think the overall value of Ramondre Stevenson dips that hard. It's certainly going to require the New England Patriots to get more utilization out of their running back specifically. But considering Zeke is not in his career currently, he's not in a position to where he's going to catch the ball out of the backfield. He wasn't last year. He's not going to be that this year for this team. So Ramondre's fine there. As for Ramondre's goal line work, baby, that's up for grabs. And let's just hope that Ramondre is efficient enough to where when they get to the red zone, he can just pop one out and they don't really have to worry about getting down to the 5-yard line and share those goal line attempts. Now, this makes Zeke relatively, I guess he could be of value. He's pretty much what Damian Harris was last year, right? He's going to get you like 40, 50 rushing yards maybe. And then if he scores a touchdown, he's a 10-point player. Outside of that, it's nothing. Now, on the other end, when we talk about Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall is still on the PUP list, guys. Physically unable to perform. The biggest concern with Breece Hall is that now that they've signed Dalvin Cook, this pulls pressure off of the organization having to get Breece Hall ready for week 1. He doesn't have to be ready by then. He doesn't have to be ready till week 4, quite honestly. If they don't want to play him, they do not have to. Because now they have Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook can be the guy within this offense that gets the first and second down utilization. And once we have a Breece Hall that is healthy and feels him, to himself to the point to where he's like 90 to 95% there, obviously there's still going to be troubles with that knee. Again, coming off an ACL, regardless of whether you tore your MCL or had other structural damage, it's still a significant enough injury for a running back to where it is going to play a factor within the first month, if not more. It definitely hurts both their values. At this point, a fully healthy Breece Hall, in my mind, is a better running back than Dalvin Cook, but that doesn't matter here. In this circumstance, you're splitting carries between the two, and it's going to damage both of their fantasy upsides going into the season. I'll give more thoughts on it as we continue today on the live stream. I'll have a video tomorrow where I go through a lot of statistics in terms of the utilization of what we anticipate to see out of Zeke and Dalvin within those offenses based on usage of running backs, based on coaching schemes. Again, those two teams are getting new offensive coordinators this year. You got Nathaniel Hackett and the New York Jets. I'm excited about Hard Knocks tomorrow night. And then you have, of course, Bill O'Brien coming out of the college football game to join the New England Patriots. So it's going to be interesting. Okay, before we begin, I want to thank you guys for joining us today. You guys are awesome. I know, it's just a random live stream. I don't really like come out here and say, hey, I'm going to be doing this or that, but I do appreciate you guys coming by. Additionally, if you guys have not yet already, do me a solid, click the like button down below. Certainly helps continue to support the channel, promote the channel, and gets us going in the right direction so I can continue to bring you guys daily fantasy content at a maximum level that I possibly can handle as a one-man show over here. Additionally, we will be drafting some teams. I know some people in the chat were saying, let's do a couple puppy drafts. We possibly can. I'm probably just going to do drafts with you guys. That's probably just more kind of inclusive for everyone. So we'll draft together. I'll send a link in the chat in just a moment. Again, where we're going to be drafting is via Underdog Fantasy. I know someone was asking earlier, where are we drafting and how do I get involved? Currently, if you go ahead and click on the link that is in the second line of the description, you can travel over to Underdog Fantasy by using the promo code Andrew and then making a first-time deposit minimum of $10. I know you guys have heard me say this about 1,000 times already this season, but I mean, it's as good of an offer as you could possibly find. Use the code first-time deposit minimum of 10, and you'll get deposit match. So if you deposit 10, you'll get 10. You get my 2023 fantasy football draft guide, the draft rankings that are associated with that, the weekly updates to those rankings every week throughout the month of August. Then you'll also get weekly updated rankings every single week, week 1 through 18, for fantasy football, half PPR, full PPR, by position, by tier, every Sunday morning. So that instead of having to come to Andrew's live stream and figure out, oh my God, is he going to answer my question, or do I have to send in a tip? Yo, you have it. Like you'll have my rankings ready to go. As good as it gets. So if you're interested, the link is in the description. We're going to be drafting via Underdog in just a moment. Just want to catch up, see what you guys have to say in the chat in terms of some questions. Let's see here. Let me scroll down. Joe Sherman has a question, says, do you see Aiden O'Connell, the quarterback? He looked good. I mean, look, I'm pretty sure Aiden O'Connell's the Raiders quarterback, right? The thing about the preseason, week 1 of the preseason at times can be important. It just depends. Just depends. There are some circumstances in which, you're playing against the 3rd string, 4th string guys that are going to get cut. You can look great. I mean, the Stetson Bennett, the 2nd string quarterback for the Rams, he was dicing up that Los Angeles Chargers defense, but again, it's tough to just put our eggs in one basket, but good showing nonetheless by Aiden O'Connell. Chauncey in the chat was saying, can I get the draft guide without going through Underdog? Yeah, the other way to find the draft guide is via Patreon. There's also a link in the description there in which you can travel over there. If that's something that interests you, by all means, take advantage of it. Thank you. George Achberis, I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Stevenson will be fine. His role is basically the same. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Jermaine. He shouldn't change because Zeke's not going to get any receiving work. And even if we end up seeing, I mean, let's not get it twisted. Ramondre was extremely efficient in his rushing attempt. So if he's just as efficient this upcoming season, they've got a pretty solid offensive line. If the offensive coordinator changes the scheme up a little bit, okay, it could make some differences in regards to how they want to utilize that offensive line, whether they go to a zone scheme or whether they just play power by pulling guards, tackles, tight ends, fullbacks, we'll end up seeing. But at this current circumstance, it's not anything that I'm wholly worried about because it's Zeke. If they sign someone like Dalvin or Leonard Fournette who have receiving upside, then I would have began to worry. You know what I mean? Let's see here. What do we got? Okay, a couple questions here. So Michael says in the chat, drafted Cup at 1.2, and I felt great about it. Whole league laughed at me. Do you think I reached? No, I don't think you reached. Listen, here's the thing. Everyone can sit, even myself, we can all sit here and say, hey, that was a bad pick. We're not going to know until January. We're not going to know. We truly will not know. There are players last season that I was bullish on. Guys like Allen Robinson. You guys remember how much I liked Allen Robinson last season? And guess what happened to him? Complete garbage. Why? Because immediately as he joined the team, dude could not catch a fade in the end zone. Matthew Stafford immediately got hurt and then just looked terrible. And then eventually once Allen Robinson caught a stride, All right, we're sending Matthew Stafford to the injured reserve. Bye bye. And then there goes Allen Robinson as well. Like there are players that it may look great in August, but it's going to transition completely differently when we get into September, October, November. Like last season, Amon-Ra St. Brown, where was he? Everyone was like, he's a wide receiver too. The dude was way better than that, right? There are going to be players that are looked at and people think, oh, that's a terrible pick. We'll see. That's all I have to say. We'll see. Let's see here. Hey, Andrew, I was wondering what your thoughts on our poaching players' bye weeks while drafting. Do you prefer to get them all out? Or does it not matter? Yeah, I don't care about bye weeks. The only time I'm ever worried about bye weeks is if I'm stacking 2 quarterbacks on my team and I need a quarterback to fill in that week, right? So what's the point of the investment? Unless, hear me out, it can be justified if I, let's say, for example, take, I don't know, an early quarterback. Let's say I take Justin Fields. And then subsequently after, I follow up and I grab Tua as my second quarterback. And somehow, some way, Tua is just dominating, and so is Justin Fields. Then at that point, I can trade my second quarterback and get value, right? But if they both have the same bye week and you're not going to trade and your league is not very trade friendly, it doesn't serve you well to have 2 quarterbacks in the same bye week. As for other positions, doesn't bother me. The bye-apocalypse is going to hit. It happens. I'm just trying to build the best overall roster. And if in 1 week I have to, string out guys that are not going to potentially help me win, so be it. The rest of the time, the 14 other weeks I have to make the playoffs, I'll be in a really good position to succeed. It doesn't really bother me. Is Mahomes and Josh Allen at 3.1 in a 12-man league reach? No, I don't think so. Again, it depends who's available. Again, everything is up to circumstance. Like I can say objectively, yes, I like the idea of drafting them in the 3rd round. But if there are players that I prefer, more than them at that current position, then I'd opt with them. But otherwise, I do not mind at all in any circumstance taking a quarterback in the 3rd in the current landscape of fantasy. Do you think Damian Harris has value sharing touches with James Cook, Josh Allen? Yeah, my biggest issue with Damian Harris, first and foremost, he's listed as the number 2 back on the depth chart immediately. So that already begins to lead me to, think that he's going to be sprinkled in, probably with some early down work here and there. On the goal line, it doesn't guarantee him a role. James Cook could be just as relevant. So can Josh Allen. Again, Josh Allen, the last 3 seasons has had 18, 19 rushing touchdowns in the red zone. So it's not something that I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, Damian Harris has the potential to run for 800 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns. I mean, there's a chance of it, but it's very much so contingent on James Cook and Josh Allen not getting those rushing attempts, which I believe they will. Cowboys said bye to Zeke because his best days are behind him. Absolutely. And they also had to pay Zach Martin. You see how much money they paid him today? They're quite literally giving that man, I think it's $18 million a year. This year he's getting like 13.5 mil. Next year it's like 14, and then he's got like 8.5 million in incentives both years combined. Like bro is just getting 18 mil for a lineman. I understand Zach Martin's one of the best guards in the league, but last year he did not play well. Obviously he's dealt with injuries, but still he's getting up there in age himself. When's the draft start? I'll set it up right now. Apologies. Let's go ahead. Let me set this up right now. Create private draft. Yes, it's just good. It's going to be a $3 entry. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, I put the link down in the description. And then once we have 12 teams in here, I'll be able to just start it up and get the draft in. Let's see what other questions we have. Which is why I only play in leagues that have no trades allowed. Imagine no trades allowed. I mean, okay, Derby, I could see the reasoning as to why. If you play in a league where there's trades allowed and then people are going to, collude and all this kind of jazz, that's something we want to avoid at all costs. Abso-freaking-lutely. But if you are in a controlled environment, I don't see why you would, stray away from trades. I feel like it's just another aspect of the game that's just fun. Let's see here. Jared says, do you prefer Bijan Robinson or Saquon in a full PPR? At pick 8, tough to trust the Falcons with Algier and Cordero Patterson there, while Saquon has no one. Yeah, no, I fully understand that logic. It's tough, man. Saquon scares me because I look at what he does or what he accomplished last season. Obviously, his second year removed from the ACL, and he played well. But Can he play better than he did last season? That's the question I continue to ask myself in terms of like, okay, this is what I'm looking forward to in regards to Saquon. Can he play better than he did last season? And I can't objectively say yes. So like in a full PPR, I'm leaning towards Bijan. Like I want the upside. Is it dangerous? Absolutely. I'm going for an unknown commodity that we expect to get the volume of touches that we're anticipating. While on the other side, you have a running back, like you mentioned, where there's no one attached to him. That being said, if you're going to spend the 8th overall pick to draft the running back, I would assume you're not going to give rushing attempts or targets out of the backfield in the direction of a 31, 32-year-old running back by the name of Cordero Patterson. Like, I would assume that'd be the case. But who knows? Maybe they do. Tyler Algier is going to get himself work. That's a given. As to how many touches, I mean, this is a football team that last season in the last 4 weeks, 15, 16, 17, and 18, the Atlanta Falcons were running the ball with their running backs 31 times per game. So even if Tyler Algier gets himself, I don't know, let's say 12 rushing attempts a game, right? And then they utilize Cordero Patterson as like a guy that maybe gets a couple jet sweeps, you know, a couple screen passes out of the backfield, no big deal. And then the rest of the opportunity goes to, you know, Bijan Robinson. Then I think we're in a pretty comfortable spot there. All right, let's see here. Hill or Eckler or Kelsey, says Finney. D Finney, I'd rather have depends. What's scoring format? Are we playing half PPR? If we're playing half PPR, decisions. I'd probably just lean with Eckler in a half. In a full, I'd probably go with Tyreek Hill. I don't think I'd take Kelsey over either option there. Josh says, will you do anything for Dynasty this year? Probably not. No. The majority of the leagues that I play in and the majority of the experience that I have is all in redraft formats. So if I was to jump into Dynasty, I'd be doing it at a point where I'm probably not as well versed as other fantasy, you know, football analysts, creators, content creators, whatever you want to classify them as. So I would say if you're looking for Dynasty content, there are probably just better content creators than me in that regard. As for, man, look, this is the fun right here. I'll take either of these guys. It does not bother me either way. I prefer Kupp. Maybe it's because I'm a Rams fan. I don't, but I'll take either way. It doesn't matter. I'll just, we're splitting hairs here. Kelsey at the 6, baby. Kelsey at the 6. Miracle, I don't know what you're referring to. If you can give me more clarification on the question, then I could help you out there. Angel says, I'm here drafting at the 1.07. All right, what'd you take? You take Hill. I mean, if you can get Hill at the 1.7, that's great because the running backs who come back to you in the second round should be able to give you a nice little start there. Let's see here. Who would you keep in a PPR? Watson, DK, or Amari? Who would I keep in a PPR? I'd keep DK Metcalf. Out of those three, I'd keep DK Metcalf. How many leagues do you play in on average? Last season, like I haven't. There are some leagues that I'm like, it's currently outstanding in terms of like, oh, am I going to play in it this year? Last year, I played in 13 redraft leagues. And then, of course, all the best ball drafts that I had. And then I have 2 dynasty leagues. So technically, in terms of like managing teams per week, like 15. And then whatever else. And then I think I had 1 charity league last year. So a pretty good amount. Hopefully less this year because it is... I mean, those Tuesday to Wednesday waiver wire nights for me are just, it's a disaster. It's a lot. MA says, I'm in a 10-team full PPR redraft league. 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes, and 1 tight end. What should I prioritize and do differently than others in my league? What should you prioritize? It depends. Where are you selecting? I mean, look, if you're playing in a league in which you only have 2 wide receivers, but it's a full PPR and you can start 2 flexes, I don't mind the idea of just stacking up on wide receivers there because you know that there's going to be a lot of value to garner that you can even start 2 wide receivers in those flex spots. Am I almost up here? I don't want to forget because usually what happens is somebody asks me a question and then Andrew will completely ignore the fact that he's in a draft. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this up. I'll move myself slightly out of the way so you guys can check the draft board just so I'm not, completely in the way. Apologies in advance. What are we doing here? Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry at the 11 and 14. Don't mind that at all. The double wide receivers, here they come. More wide receivers down the line. I mean, what do we have available? Jalen Waddle looks like a pretty good pick here, most likely. Okay, so anyway, let me get back to this question. Where are we at here? Purple says I'm here at the 1.8. Good luck. Thank you. Chris Olave went off the board before Waddle, huh? All right. Interesting. Yeah. I literally kept saying, oh, Waddle's such a great pick because I wanted Tony Pollard. Let's just keep this 100% here, okay? I wanted Tony Pollard. It wasn't given to me. I'll just take Waddle, and I'll just run double wide receivers. We'll see where this draft goes if I just stack up on wide receivers. Henry says, hello, sir. Am I crazy to think that Michael Thomas could return to form and be a draft steal? I do not think you're crazy. Earlier today, I thought to myself, maybe we're all crazy in drafting Chris Olave as high as we are. And maybe Michael Thomas is the de facto number one of that team. I actually had that inner monologue earlier today. As to whether that comes to fruition, we'll have to wait and see. But at his current ADP, why not? I mean, like, let me see here. Where's Michael Thomas? Where's the search? Let's go here. Michael. ADP of 98. You can get him as your fourth, your fifth wide receiver. Like, it's not like it's going to be a massive investment in doing so. So I don't mind it. But you're also talking to the guy who was drafting Michael Thomas in the 6th round last year. I was fully, I drank all the Kool-Aid. I cleaned it out. And then obviously, it backfired. There's a question that says, can you please do a 2QB Superflex IDP league? Oh my God, my brother. That is, IDP. Just like Dynasty, I will opt towards the idea that, hey, listen, guys, there are better content creators out there in a lot of circumstances. I'm not the best at everything. I know that, right? So if you're looking for IDP individual defensive player, rankings, stats, all that kind of jazz, don't even ask me because I just don't know. I don't play in any IDP leagues, just like I don't play in any auction leagues, right? So these are variables of content that sure I could tap into. There's just already so much to sink my teeth into that I don't know if I want to jump into the IDP game. Who's available? Let's see what the draft board is kind of led us to believe here. Jonathan Taylor in the 3rd round. Jonathan Taylor was back at practice today. Did you guys see that? He's rehabbing his ankle. Obviously, he had ankle surgery in the offseason. But I think there may be a point where he's back in that uniform. I don't know if he's going to play week 1. We'll have to wait and see. But if he ends up getting it going, we're in a great spot. All right, I'm back on the clock. Who is available at running back? Amari Cooper, who's available at running back? I think I'm going to do one of these. Wait, who's at quarterback? Oh, what? Oh, all right. We're going to keep it moving. All right. We're going to see what happens here, okay? We're going to see what happens. You guys know me. A 3rd round quarterback it's my vibe right now. I don't know what it is. Justin Fields at 3.6. Hey, my brother, you know what? You are braver than most. Chill sent into the question said, 1 QB. I get Trevor Lawrence for CJ Goff and 2 2026 picks. 1 QB league. I get Trevor Lawrence and I'm giving away CJ, as in CJ Stroud, Jared Goff, and 2 2026 second rounders. I don't mind it. I mean, look, here's the thing. What is a 2026 round? Okay. Hear me out. I am of the belief, and I might have, again, this is the Kool-Aid talk happening again. I may have drank the Kool-Aid once again in regards to the idea that revolves around what are those picks really worth? Who's to say that those 2 second round picks in 2026, by the time we get there, are going to be of any value? Who's to say, right? So I'm dipping back into my my Rams culture here, and I'm saying, F them picks, trade them away, give me Trevor Lawrence, man. If he can help me capture a fantasy championship in the next, this year, next year, the year after, who cares? Who cares about those picks? I don't need Stroud. I don't need Jared Goff either. Let's go for it, right? Let's Go for it, Chill. Let's see here. Chill says like a third trade up or Chase Brown. I have Mixon. I don't even know what that means. Okay, keep moving it on. 220.76 thirds. Ah, I see. Yeah, throw away the thirds. Send it. Give it to him. It's a 1 QB league. It's not a super flex. You're not really. I don't see how you could be making a mistake there. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. I'm not a dynasty guy, but I feel like I'd rather just have Trevor Lawrence. Let's see here. Angel said I swooped in on Jalen Hurts. Yeah, you did. I don't know how Fields went before him, but hey, you know what? That's just drafting, man. If you believe in a guy, you go for him. Gibbs at 3.1. Did Gibbs go at 3.1? I don't think Gibbs is even gone yet. Oh, there he is. 3.9. Am I going for Gibbs at 3.1? I'm not going for Gibbs. That's probably one of the guys that I will have very little market share of, primarily because I just like David Montgomery and I think he's going to have a lot of value. Now, if we were playing in a full PPR league, my entire perspective on the matter changes. I think Gibbs is certainly more valuable than David Montgomery in a full PPR because I do anticipate that Gibbs has the likelihood, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think he does have the absolute likelihood to catch the ball 70 plus times. He really does within that offense. All right, let's see what's going to be available here come the fourth round. A good amount of running backs have been taken. Do I want to jump back into this conversation at running back, or do I just want to continue to just lean in on wide receivers? Let me see here. What's available at tight end? Okay, so there's no Mark Andrews. Okay. I don't mind this. I'm actually just going to stack up on wide receivers. I'm going to try something, guys. Don't do this often. Don't try this at home. I guess we'll just let Andrew test it, and then we'll see what happens when he goes Omega wide receiver heavy. Gibbs ADP too rich? I think so. I mean, I could be wrong. Again, like I said earlier in the stream, you won't know till December, January. But until then, it's it's too rich for my blood. Should I keep Swift or drop for Dobbins? Assuming this is a redraft league, let's put it out there. I'd rather have Dobbins. That's what I'd rather have for this season. Channel Sold says Patriots sign Ezekiel Elliott $6 million. Do I play him fantasy third string? Can he be a third string running back? In a standard league, maybe. In a half PPR, full PPR, I don't think Zeke is an RB3. No. I think Zeke is an RB4. I think Zeke is in the same conversation as Tyler Algier, Jamal Williams, Elijah Mitchell. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, they're running backs that are handcuffs, so they have value if, in fact, the starter goes down. But additionally, they have a couple touches that they're going to get, 8 to 12 times in a game, right? Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, or Tony Pollard. In a half PPR AM, I'd rather have Tony Pollard. Objectively, I'd rather have Tony Pollard. In a full PPR, I'll take Amon-Ra there. All right, what are we dealing with here? A couple backs came off the board. No big deal. Alexander Madison still there. Okay. Hawkinson. I don't even mind this. Guys, I'm testing something. I'm testing the waters. We're gonna really push the envelope on this one. We're really gonna push it. Let's see how far, how late in drafts I can get running backs and still have a relevant team, if it's even possible. David Montgomery will outscore Gibbs in a half PPR. Book it. I mean, I hope so. Quite frankly, I hope that they both just ball out. I hope that the Detroit Lions are such a good football team that both of them are relevant, right? Because that only helps for fantasy purposes. Zeke will be Jamal Williams. Yeah, when I said Zeke is in the conversation of being like a Jamal Williams, I meant like Jamal Williams this year on New Orleans, not Jamal Williams last year. I don't think he's scoring 17 rushing touchdowns. Should I trade Stevenson for Aaron Jones? In what? In like a redraft league? No. In a dynasty league? No. In a keeper league? No. Stevenson has the youth, and in my opinion, he has more value probably still than Aaron Jones at the moment. If anything, the problem of like Stevenson and Aaron Jones are probably going to catch the same amount of passes, right? The difference between the two is that Stevenson, younger, And AJ Dillon digs into all of the goal line work objectively. In the last, 2 seasons, Aaron Jones has 8 rushing attempts inside the 5-yard line for 2 rushing touchdowns. And AJ Dillon has 20 inside the 5-yard line for like 8 touchdowns. It's not even close. And I don't think it'll be that crazy for Zeke in that regard. C. Banger sends in a super chat. Thank you very much. C. Appreciate it. 12-man. Superflex. Tight end premium. I like that. Format. 1 QB. 2 running backs. 3 wide receivers. 1 tight end. 1 superflex. So there's no flex position. Interesting. Can you please rank positions? More important. Also 6 point per passing touchdown. Minus 4 point interception. Yeah. So in your league, Banger, without a doubt in my mind, the quarterback is the most important position. In a 6 point per passing touchdown league, Patrick Mahomes literally had 480 fantasy points last year. It is not even up to discussion at all. I want quarterback in that format. I want Mahomes, I want Allen, I want Hurts. If I can't get those, give me Burrow, give me Lamar, then give me Justin Herbert, then give me Fields. I'll take Trevor Lawrence ahead of Fields in a 6 point per passing touchdown format. And then I'll go Fields after him. Give me a quarterback in the first. Then let me address the rest of my positions. I think tight end in a premium where you get 1.5 per reception or maybe 1 point per reception in a half PPR. I don't know what your current format sits at. In that kind of a circumstance, I don't mind grabbing a tight end assuming it's Travis Kelce and he's somehow available in that second round, give it to me. But I think he's probably gone at the end of the first on that turn. Mark Andrews, probably a late second round pick in that circumstance. TJ Hawkinson's an early fourth. Like those are guys that are absolutely. Am I on the clock? I didn't even realize. Okay, I'm almost on the clock. Here we go. What do we have here? So somehow, some way, guys, I have managed to collect no running backs. Okay. Can I somehow function with what is available? I think so. I mean, like, I'm going to take David Montgomery here because I continue to talk about the fact that he is Jamal Williams this year. They signed him to play that role, quite literally. So 8 touchdowns, 9, 10. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, at this point, why not? But Banjo, to continue on with your question, in Superflex, tight end premium, quarterback in the first round, I don't mind taking a tight end in the second or third or fourth, etc. But I want guys that are PPR relevant, right? So I want Hawkinson, I want Andrews, I want Waller. I'm not interested too much in Kittle in that format because he's not going to get as many receptions. I'm not as interested in Goddard in that format. Like, it just depends. So after that, again, you just play it by best available. You have 3 starting wide receivers. In my opinion, I don't need to fill up all 3 to be satisfied. I'm probably looking to establish 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers after the fact, not in any particular order. I guess just based on who's best available. Take Connor. Listen, you don't have to tell me, man. I love James Conner. Okay, let's just get this straight. I think James Conner is one of the more relevant backs that could be in this kind of a format where I'm just hard tunneled on not taking running back early. Could be a very relevant player in my roster if everything kind of pans out with that organization, but it may not. Why is Javonte Williams going so low compared to Breece Hall? You know why? The primary reason that revolves around the fear that kind of looms in regards to Javonte Williams, because Javonte Williams is practicing right now. And the other day, I'm not even joking, Sean Payton literally said Javonte Williams is 100%. And I sat there and I thought to myself, is that really possible? Okay, what do we have here? James Cook, yeah, you know, I might be crazy. I like James Conner a lot. I'm going to do this really quickly. Oh, no. Oh, God. I took too long. I wanted Kamara. I sold the bag. Okay. The draft's done. I'm depressed. I mean, let's answer some questions. Let me just soak in the pain. I'm going to move. I'm just, I can't believe this. I mean, Jordan Addison's not bad, right? But I wanted Kamara. Oh my god, I misclicked. I literally clicked on the wrong person. Otherwise, I'm there. I'm there. It's this is why I don't play video games anymore. My mechanics are not there, guys. The clicking, the DPI, it wasn't at its perfect spot. It is what it is. It's fine. I'm having fun. Let's answer some more questions here. Grim or GRM114 says, in a 10-team half PPR league, keeping 3. Drafting 8th overall. Who do I keep? I have Christian McCaffrey, 1st round keeper, Ramondre, 9th round keeper, DJ, 15th round keeper, Ayuk, 15th, and Pitts, 15th. I'm keeping McCaffrey. I'm keeping Ramondre. And I'm probably keeping DJ Moore over Ayuk and Pitts, me personally. Ayuk with Debo there, Debo signing a new contract. I don't know if Ayuk can really develop into the guy we want him to. Angel says, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome, Angel. You're very welcome. You got Kamara. Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. No problem. So I'm probably keeping CMC, Ramondre, and Moore there. Chris sends in a question, says, I had draft similar and got both Pierce and Sanders, both like 10 spots behind ADP. Was super excited. I would be excited about that as well. That's as good as it probably gets, my man. That ninth spot is tough. What do you mean? Stephon Diggs, Amon-Ra, Jameer, Travis Etienne, Deontay, Trevor Lawrence, James. I don't mind that team. That's actually, I don't mind that. Grab Herbert at running back. Yeah, I mean, listen, I got to grab a running back, so don't worry. I'm going to grab one. And the fact that Herbert is number 1 on the depth chart, especially considering they signed Deontay Foreman, is super promising for his potential going forward this season. So we'll see how it kind of transpires. DJ Moore is going to be huge this season. I don't know about huge. I think he'll probably be as good as he's been in the last couple years. If at any point he's going to elevate beyond what we've seen, it's most likely because Justin Fields takes like a ridiculous step forward. But yeah, we'll see. Damn, Rashad White is still here. Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Wow, that was really nice of you guys. Leaving me an actual top 24 back remaining. Oh my gosh. What did I get him in? What round is that? I got him in the 8th round. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? That's crazy. I just got bailed out. I mean, look, full context, right? If I was allowed and my mechanics were not bad, this Jordan Addison pick would be Alvin Kamara, and I'd have Montgomery, a Kamara, and then assuming nobody took Rashad White by the time we got here, boom. So that would have been my triple running back stack there. That quite honestly, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Now, you might not like it, but in the context of doing this, where I just go wide receiver, tight end, quarterback heavy, it's not the end of the world, especially if these guys are somewhat relevant this year. Welcome to Paradise says, I may have missed it, but how do you feel about Zeke? Zeke is, okay, so this is the analogy I gave. Ezekiel Elliott will be at a very similar value to what Tyler Algier presents this year, in terms of, hey, there's going to be a relevant running back ahead of him that is going to dominate the rushing attempts and receiving work. Where he can potentially shine is on let's say 8 to 10 carries a game. And if goal line work permits it, he could be relevant. So Zeke is pretty much what Damian Harris was last year. And if Damian Harris stayed healthy, am I back on the clock? Oh, you don't say. What's available here? Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert, Jameson. I don't like Jameson Williams at all this year right now. All right, let's go. Let's do some spicy stuff, shall we? Let's get a little bit of running back depth on this team. Sorry, let me bring up the draft board. So, Damian Harris, Zeke. If Damian Harris stayed healthy last year, he still could have been a relevant back because he was getting himself a pretty good amount of touches. I mean, 10 rushing attempts a game, a couple sprinkles of receptions, considering how much Mac Jones likes to throw the ball. I think the stat that I always like to mention is that Mac Jones in the 13 games where he was a starter, wasn't replaced, didn't get injured, all that kind of jazz last season, he targeted his running backs about 7.3 times per game, which is great. But in this circumstance, Zeke is like hey, I might get 40, I might get 60 rushing yards, somewhere in that gap. If I score a touchdown, I score more than 10 fantasy points this week. Otherwise, maybe I score 4.5 to 6 points. So he's not going to be the most relevant back. He's just more of a handcuff that just digs into the potential goal line work of what Ramondre presents. Mr. TD says Zeke isn't a fantasy option. He's more of a real football play. Yeah, no, he is. He's more of a, hey, strategically, if we're trying to win games this season, we want a better guy at the goal line. We need more RB depth. Let's just sign him. He's not really fantasy relevant. Just like Tyler Algier isn't really fantasy relevant unless an injury takes place because they're handcuffs. Is Miles Sanders still out there? No, Miles Sanders went, let's see. Miles Sanders, where the heck is he? Miles Sanders went right here in the 6th round. Where, I mean, if he had landed in my lap, I would have taken him. I think I have, let me pull up my rankings. In a half PPR right now, adjusted on Monday. Yeah. Or sorry, no. I actually made those rankings on Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I had Miles Sanders as my number 14 back. The fact that he goes in the 6th is disgusting. I don't get it. I mean, I understand in some circumstances why that would be the case, but then somebody else has got to explain to me why people don't think he's going to be a 3-down back or why he's not going to be relevant. Are we assuming he's not going to score 10 touchdowns? Because I'm not assuming he will. I'm just assuming he'll catch the ball 45 to 55 times and then probably have himself 1,000 rushing yards and then maybe 6 total touchdowns. Like that's enough for me to justify his value at the current position. Obviously, with the sprinkle of receiving yards that he'll eventually get. Thomas sends in a question, says, in a 2-keeper league, who should I keep? Saquon in the 3rd, Waller in the 9th, D-Hop in the 12th, Dameon Pierce in the 13th, Ramondre in the 15th. Ooh, my brother. Okay, Thomas, here's my suggestion. In a keeper league, I'd keep Saquon and I'd keep Stevenson. That's what I would do. I love Dameon Pierce. I mean, he runs hard, but for all intents and purposes, the organization that he sits within doesn't do him much favors. I think Ramondre, especially next year when there's no more Zeke and there's no, nothing of that to hold him back and all this kind of jazz, Saquon or Ramondre are the most, valuable prospects that you potentially have going forward, in my mind, to at least keep you to, still relevant in the chase for the championship and then also be looking towards the future. K-Man says, would you draft differently if it was like an ESPN or Yahoo league? Yes, I would draft differently. Let me tell you why. In an ESPN or Yahoo league, specifically if I go in there with randoms, right? They're not going to understand the ADP of players. They're just not going to. What do I have here? Nico Collins, Zay Jones, Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney, Michael Galvin. I'll take Alan Lazard. So they're not going to understand ADP, at least not to the value of what it should be, right? So like, if like I went the other day and I looked at ESPN drafts, Mahomes goes at the end of the 1st in a normal ESPN league. Why is that even ADP? How did that happen? That's what someone's got to explain to me. I don't understand. Okay, so what round are we in here? We're at round, man, you have a long name. Ghost of Saints Jimmy Graham, huh? You have the longest name I've seen on Underdog. I promise you. That is crazy. Okay. Let me get to answering a couple more questions here. Brenton says, would you take Tyreek over Bijan? Yes, I would. Half PPR or full, I would. It's not about the platform, it's about the setting. Well, it depends, right? Like, it's also about the people you play with. Like, currently, if you go to ESPN, I'm gonna actually pull it up. ESPN ADPs. I'm going to pull this up on my computer. Let's see here. ESPN ADPs. So currently, for example, Chris Olave is which one? Oh my goodness. Chris Olave is going off the, what is his ADP on this thing? Average pick. He's pick 37. So he would go off the board at the end of the 3rd round. Like comparatively to where he goes here, 18. Like there's an 18, gap difference of picks between where he goes on ESPN and where he goes on Underdog. Oh, am I on the clock? I just took Kirk. Okay. I didn't even know I was on the. Okay. It is what it is. The Alvin Kamara thing happened. We live and we learn. I don't know. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. I'm running out of it is what it is, but I guess in this circumstance, it is what it is. All right, we're gonna start up another one of these drafts. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. So if you guys are interested, join away. After that Alvin Kamara, my soul was broken, my spirit was crushed, and now we're back to just we're starting a new draft. If you're interested, again, you can check out Underdog Fantasy. There's a link down in the description. Besides being able to draft, I know right now, let me just kind of throw it up on screen so we're all on the same page. There's this thing called the Puppy Draft. It's a $5 entry. This just started today, if I'm not mistaken. You can go draft teams, 30 seconds to pick, $200,000 if you win first play. I mean, like, there are some crazy things going on via Underdog Fantasy, so why not be a part of it? If you guys have not yet already, be sure to go ahead, check out the link in the description. Use code Andrew. You can sign up, make a first-time deposit, minimum of $10. You can get 4 puppy drafts under your belt immediately, gain some experience. Additionally, you'll get an email from Underdog Fantasy that includes my 2023 Fantasy Football Draft Guide. Those draft guide have rankings in it. The rankings are by tier, by position, QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, kicker, defense. Top 200 flex for both full and half PPR. It includes quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, and receivers. So top 200 ready to go, updated weekly, sent from my email to yours. Check your spam folder. Additionally, every Sunday morning from weeks 1 through 18, I will also be sending you rankings for that specific week. So if you're wondering, hey, week 1, who am I starting? And it's Sunday morning, you're sitting there, who am I starting in my flex position? I've got James Cook and I've got Rashad White. My rankings will hopefully be in your email. You'll check your spam folder and you'll be able to get the rankings. And if you're wondering, hey, do I start, Judy, or do I play, I don't know, Kamara? I mean, he'll be suspended, so you'll know. But you know what I mean. Flex rankings, regular rankings, half PPR, full PPR. It'll all be available every Sunday morning. I'll send it to you even before my live stream goes live so that you're ready to go. Underdog goes from you're up in 10 picks to you're on the clock in seconds. I mean, listen, I wasn't paying attention because you guys get me. I mean, you ask me a question and then I derail my entire life because of it. So it is what it is. Will you release any updated rankings videos closer to the beginning of the season? Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, guys, every year for how many years now? 4 years? Every year for the last, actually, I don't even know what the number is. Let me actually check. Let me be accurate in my in my statement here. If I scroll back into all the videos that I've ever done in the history of my channel, the first time I did a tier list video was back in baby. It has been a while. The first time I did a tier list video was back to, it says 3 years ago, and the date on the video is there a date? August 22nd, 2019. I did a tier list video back then. Every year I do a tier list video for each position. So I will definitely have a video out in the coming weeks for each position tier list, probably like more than top 36 at running back and wide receiver, more than top 12 at, probably more than it'll probably be like top 24 quarterbacks, maybe even top 32. I don't know. I might go crazy this year. So yeah, we'll definitely have more rankings videos as we approach. Absolutely. Are you able to pay through PayPal? Miracle Robinson, great question. Somebody answer that for him because I have no clue. I do not even know. We're looking for 2 more people to join this draft. Again, it's a $3 buy-in. There's a link. I'll go ahead and share it one more time in the chat if you guys are interested. You can join there and draft with us. This will probably be the last draft of the night. New glasses? Yes, new glasses. Joseph Perry says, hey, Andrew, in a 2 QB league, all right, I'm already excited. You had me at 2 QB. I get to keep 2. Do I go with Cooper Kupp in the 3rd, Drake London in the 12th, Cam Akers in the 12th, or Geno Smith in the 12th? Ooh, baby. Okay, so in a keeper league, this is interesting. I'm not keeping Akers. I'm not doing it. So of the group, I think it's really going to be dependent on like how many quarterbacks are being kept. If you're in a position to where, hey, if the top 6 quarterbacks are already being taken, all of them, right? Like all the studs. We're talking about Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, Fields, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. If those guys are being kept, I could see the argument for keeping Geno, but I don't think I'd do it. I'd probably just keep London and Cup. That's the direction I'm going in, even in a super flex league. But because it's a keeper, I don't know if Geno Smith is worth it unless really like there's no wider or there's no quarterback depth to the point where you're like, if I don't keep him, I don't get a decent quarterback this year. That's the only reason I'd ever kind of make that decision. Miles says, "Hey Andrew, hope you're doing well." I am. Thank you, Miles. Hope you are as well. I have the third pick in a full PPR. And have been absolutely torn on whether I'm going Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase. Assuming JJ and Christian McCaffrey are gone, what's the play? I can make the argument for both. I think Jamar Chase is just safer. If you are more risk averse, and the assumption is that Jamar Chase is going to take a year 3 jump, just the way that Justin Jefferson did. If you guys look at Justin Jefferson's year 2 stats, and then you look at Jamar Chase's year 2 stats, Jamar Chase was a better wide receiver. So if we're assuming a equal jump, because again, they're both absolute studs, Jamar Chase would be the pick. It's just safer. Mohammed says, I'm trying to join, but I can't. Yeah, it already filled up. The draft has already started. Mohammed, my apologies. Got to be quicker, a little bit quicker. Let's see here. I don't get Rachaad White hate. He's going to get a lot of catches in a full PPR, even without red zone touches. He can still finish as a top 20 back. He should finish as a top 20 back, absolutely. The receiving work and the fact that his only other competition in that backfield is Keyshawn Vaughn and Chase Edmonds. Like, what are we talking about? It's an absolute top 24 minimum for Rachaad White, assuming he can maintain his health. All right, we're on the clock. Who's available, Austin Eckler or Cooper Kupp? I mean, at this point, I'm kind of bought into the idea of where I'm just going to go wide receiver until the cows come home and just keep testing this until, I get enough experience of the wide receiver overload to where I understand truly the upside of it. Burrow, Lawrence, Watson, only QBs being kept, says Joseph. Okay. Burrow, Lawrence. Yeah, I wouldn't keep Geno then. You don't need to. Keep London, keep Kupp, and let's roll. Hey, Andrew, should I be concerned about Davante Adams this year? I think Davante Adams is QB proof. I think, right? I didn't say I know he is. I think he's QB proof. That being said, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to put that to the test this year, right? I wanted to actually pull something up here. Davante Adams, the 1 year that Aaron Rodgers got hurt, what was it, 2018? Or was it 2017? I'm trying to recall. Let's see. 2018 Packers, Aaron Rodgers was not injured. It was 2017 Packers, correct? Where it was Brett Hundley? Brett Hundley. Okay. So in that season, with Brett Hundley, what did 2017? Let's go pull up some stats. Am I almost on the clock? Probably. Let's go see what Davante Adams did with Brett Hundley at quarterback in 2017. I know that's a long time ago. I just want a reference point as to, besides Derek Carr last year, which they already had report, and Derek Carr is a significantly better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. I just want a little bit of reference point. So in that season, Davante Adams finished as wide receiver 14. He had only 117 targets, 74 receptions, 10 touchdowns, 885 receiving yards. Now, when we look at what Brett Hundley's capable of and Jimmy Garoppolo is capable of, I think there's a very good chance that Davante Adams is a 1,000-yard, 8 to 9 receiving touchdown kind of guy. He probably is. So should we be afraid of him? No. Should we be cautious? Absolutely. Because again, the quarterback associated with him is tough. Now, additionally, besides, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, Brett Hundley, all these names that I've thrown out, if you go back to week 17 of last season against the San Francisco 49ers Championship Sunday, Davante Adams with Jarrett Studham went completely nuclear, if we remember that. So where are we at here? Give me Tony Pollard or Derrick Henry. I mean, at this point, just out of pure celebration of the fact that we just saw Ezekiel Elliott not sign back with the Cowboys, we'll do a hip hip hooray for Tony Pollard and run him there. Let me go up and throw up the draft really quickly, just so for those of you who are not involved, you guys can get an idea as to what the heck is going on in here. Rank Burrow, Herbert, Lamar, Fields. Okay, Ryan. Lamar Lamar is first, Fields is second, Burrow is third, Herbert is fourth. I've changed my mind on that quite many times this offseason already, but at this current moment, yeah, I'd go Lamar, Fields, Burrow, Herbert. And that's for a 4-point per passing touchdown format. If it's a 6-point per passing touchdown format, I would go Burrow, Lamar, Herbert, Fields. Thank you. Doug says, so did you see earlier if we have 6-point per passing touch? So did you say earlier if we have a 6-point per passing touchdown league that you would take one of the big 3 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds? I said earlier, Doug, that if you play in a 6-point per passing touchdown league and you play in a super flex format, I would take Patrick Mahomes with the number 1 overall pick. Now, if we were saying that it's not a 2 QB league, right, and it's not a super flex format, and it's still a 6-point per passing touchdown league, I would still take Patrick Mahomes in the first round, probably in the middle of the first, if not first overall once again, because, I mean, I'll go pull up the stats. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense as to why he's this good, but the format permits it. And because of the advantage that you can have technically with Mahomes there, it is worth it. I mean, last year, Mahomes quite literally had 498 fantasy points in a 6-point per passing touchdown league in comparison to, for example, let's say Trevor Lawrence last season. Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence. Mahomes, 498. Trevor Lawrence had 345. He had 150 more fantasy points more than him within the season. Mahomes in a 6-point per passing touchdown league averaged 29.3 last year. 29.3. Like, yeah, he's going to be my first round pick, maybe first overall, even in a 1 QB league. It's just kind of hard to pass up. I mean, when you have Mahomes in that kind of a format, he counts as 2 players. He does. Objectively, he does. So you just take advantage of it. Let's see here. Am I almost on the clock? I am. Jahmyr Gibbs goes right before me. No problem. Let's see who's available. Metcalf, no problem. Mark Andrews, I love that. What quarterback? No, I'll take Mark Andrews. Thank you very much. We'll keep it moving. Let's see here. Full PPR. Rank these guys. ETN, Joe Mixon. I almost said Joe Burrow. Joe Mixon, Najee, Ramondre, and Breece Hall. In a full PPR right now today, Joe Mixon's number 1, Najee's 2. Joe Mixon's 1, Ramondre's 2, Najee's 3. You know what? Now I got to think about this. If Jaylen Warren digs into his work, but you have Zeke there, I'd go Mixon, Najee, Ramondre, ETN, Breece Hall in that order. Crypt Keeper says, are you going to do some more Superflex videos, my guy? Maybe. Here's the thing about Superflex. Here's the thing that is the unfortunate reality of it, okay? Superflex formats are not very popular in comparison to a regular 1 QB redraft league. Therefore, the content for it is very niche, and you know, I can justify doing 1 video for it, but doing multiple it's tough. It's tough to do that, especially when there's so many topics that I could possibly do videos on. It is tough to justify it. Doug says I'm at the 1.10 in my league, so you're at the 10th pick of the first round. I mean, if in a 6-point per passing touchdown league, putting it out there, you can get Mahomes in the first at 1.10, I would do it. That's just me personally. Where are we at here? Okay, we did that. No problem, Doug. Appreciate it. Just a Mango says, hey, Andrew, I want to say I appreciate. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, yep. I thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hey, listen, I'm going to try my best, guys. I want to be more active in terms of live streaming. Ooh, it's tough. It's tough, guys. It is. I mean, here's the reality. In terms of social batteries, being able to talk for an hour straight, I can do it in front of a camera, especially when I can stop, take a break, edit it out, continue. You know what I mean? Like, but when we're going fast pace, nonstop chat, it's not the easiest game in the world. I don't know if you already touched on it, but where does Dalvin Cook go? Dalvin Cook is probably an RB3 this year. Assuming that Breece Hall is active week 1. If Breece Hall is not active week 1, it's gonna be it's just gonna be interesting how I rank them. I'll tell you that much, because there could be some overlap to the point where Breece Hall is even better. But at this current moment, I'm looking at him as an RB3. So where he goes in this draft should probably be in the 8th round, or probably further beyond that, maybe 9th. What's the difference between Tyreek downgrading from Mahomes to Tua and Adams from Carr to Jimmy G? What is the difference? Well, it's purely going to be based on the off. Am I on the clock? I did it again. I did it again. I guess I got Breece Hall, guys. Well, here we go. Who could I have had? Christian Watson, ETN, Mixon. Oh, man, I would have taken Mixon. Oh, my God. Hey, listen, if you guys drafted me, you just know you're just going to have a good time, right? Because Andrew's not going to be paying attention. That's just the reality. But anyway, where was I at? Yeah, what is the difference between the downgrade? The offense for the Miami Dolphins last season threw the ball. I mean, I think that they had the 5th most passing attempts. I can pull this up. Where's my my stat sheet? You guys should see how many Excel sheets of data I have. It is ridiculous. Okay, so let's see here. I mean, as it should be, right? Okay, so last season, the Miami Dolphins were number 11 in terms of team passing completions. They were number 12 in team passing attempts. I mean, in comparison to the Raiders are up there. They threw the ball 585 times. Now, you got to tell me, do you think the Raiders are going to throw the ball as many times as the Miami Dolphins are going to? You got to remember that also Devontae Adams had 180 targets. So if we are to assume that Jimmy G is going to go from being the starting quarterback of an offense that did not let him throw the ball, more than 30 times a game, to being in a conversation to where we're going to let him rip it 35 times a game, 40 times a game if we need to. If that's going to be the case, so be it. I'd love to see it, and that'll be fantastic for not only Devontae Adams, but for, probably Jacoby Myers as a wide receiver too within that offense, and then additionally Josh Jacobs once he returns. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just a matter of the offense. Are they going to pass the ball as much as we anticipate, or as much as they even did last year? If they are, great. Now, in many circumstances, they're going to be forced to, mainly because of the game script. If they can stay within games, then fine, but otherwise, should be good to go. Corey says, hey, like your channel, but you tricked me with Pittman and Sutton last year. Here's the thing. I didn't trick you, right? I got tricked. Let's get this straight. Who expected Russell Wilson to go from being one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, objectively, without a doubt, objectively one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, to go into the Denver Broncos? Everyone's saying he's going to be an MVP candidate this year because they're going to let him cook. Am I on the clock again? I don't want to mess this up. Hold up. While we're here, while we're just in the conversation of just messing around here, let me go and just grab Lockett and just let it ride. We'll see what happens with this team. Who expected Russell Wilson to completely fall off a cliff? If someone's like, yeah, I did, okay, congratulations. I'm going to firmly shake your hand, and then you need to tell me who's falling off the cliff this year, because I'd love to know. And then on top of that, Michael Pittman Jr., yeah, it's just that's my fault on expecting anything out of Matt Ryan. Really, that I'll take that L. That's not a problem. But the Russell Wilson one, that is some unexpected, complete BS. There's no reason he should go from consistently throughout his entire career being a top 12 quarterback every single season, as long as he's been healthy, and then he goes to the Denver Broncos and he's the complete, he's just a nightmare player. He ruined seasons, and then subsequently ruined Cortland Sutton. But yeah, I'll take the L. I don't mind that. Hey, listen, I'm not 100% accurate. If I was 100% accurate, I wouldn't be here. You know where I'd be? I'd be in Vegas, and I'd be making some decisions there, because I'd have the sports almanac. I'd be like Biff in the giant tower, ruling over the world in the second Back to the Future movie, right? But in this circumstance, yeah, no, I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. Who's other guys that I messed up on last season? Allen Robinson, we talked about him earlier. Who's another player that I was bullish on? Matthew Stafford. I mean, he ended up going to the IR. So, I mean, that's in itself a little bit a little bit cooked. I'm actually curious. I'm gonna go pull up my rankings from last season. Can I find them though? It's gonna be hard. There's a lot of Excel sheets here. I might be able to. Let me. You know what? I'm gonna try. I'm actually curious, just for my own to appease myself. Let's see here. Where is my folder with my draft guide? No, where's my draft rankings from last year? That's what I'm looking for. Oh man, this is gonna. No, I don't even know. We're gonna have to look for a while. Oh man, there's so many Excel sheets on this folder. Okay, we'll figure it out in a bit. Am I almost on the clock? No. Let me see what kind of questions there are. Jacob says, it's been hard for me to get on the James Conner hype train. What the heck was that? Oh, I see what's going on. All right. So this is what I'm going to do really quickly, just so I can find it. I know I'm on the clock. Forgive me. I'll get back to it in a second. Is Damian Pierce available? That's not a bad pick. Neither is Cam Akers. We'll do that. I'll take it. Whatever. Let it ride. I don't even have a quarterback. I'm just realizing. Okay, we've been here for an hour, huh? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer a couple questions, and then I'm going to try to find that rankings list from last year. Can I do it right now? I think I might be able to. It may not be the most updated one, though. It might be one from early August. Let's see. Ooh, where are you? I can't. All right, well, I tried. I'll I might make a video on that. We'll see. Okay, either way, we've been here for an hour. I do appreciate you guys coming by, asking questions, supporting the channel with your viewership, clicking the like button, all of the above. It is greatly appreciated. Tomorrow, we'll have a video where I'll go a little bit more in depth in regards to Breece Hall, Ramondre Stevenson, other running backs that we've gotten pretty good news on. What do you use to shave your head? Clippers. I mean, I just, easy peasy. Thoughts on Aaron Rodgers? 16th best quarterback in terms of my rankings right now in a 4-point per passing touchdown league. So that's where I'm at right now. TD says Sean got the real questions. Where's Sean? Sean says, yeah, he got the real questions. Thanks, Sean. Yeah. If you expected me to answer with like a hashtag ad, like, oh, go check out XYZ. No, I don't have any of that. We're using some clippers. We're clearing this thing up, keeping it nice and smooth because, all the stress of fantasy, seasons has reduced my hairline to a complete zero. But either way, I appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow with some content. Maybe we'll be back with another live stream. I do appreciate y'all. We're going to go. Again, final reminder, as you guys can see right here. Right here? Yeah, right here. Underdog Fantasy. You can use code Andrew. You can make a first-time deposit. You'll get the deposit match up to $100. So if you deposit 10, you'll get 10. If you deposit 20, you get 20. If you deposit 100, you get 100. It's up to $100. If you're interested, go ahead and try that out. Additionally, you'll get my 2023 Fantasy Football Draft Guide and Ranking sent to you from Underdog Fantasy. So you'll get an email from Underdog Fantasy. It'll take you to a link to where you can download it from a Dropbox. Boom, bang, bop. Perfect. Additionally, I'll send you updates every week, which includes a updated version of the PDF and updated rankings in an Excel sheet. On top of it, weeks 1 through 18 rankings every Sunday morning. Excel sheet from my email to yours. Keep an eye on that in terms of the spam folder. Outside of that, we're good to go. For those of you who are not eligible to draft or play pick'ems, I'm actually really quickly. I'm on the clock again. Let's go back real quick. What do we want to do here? We need wide receiver, but we also need quarterback. I'm just gonna throw some we're throwing Hail Marys here really quickly. Okay, via Underdog. If I go to the pick'ems, what just happened? I went to the wrong screen. I went to the wrong screen. I'm in shambles, guys. I'm in shambles. Okay, in terms of the pick'ems, okay, this is another game within Underdog that, in my opinion, it's just as fun during the season. Okay, just putting it out there. Besides the fact that there is the potential of playing daily pick'ems and then picking higher or lower on given statistics, the one thing is the NFL season Okay, you can legitimately. Okay, where's David Montgomery? Okay, David Montgomery, 7 touchdowns, 775 yards. I'll plant the flag. I think it's gonna happen. Who else do I like here? What is this? Josh Allen, 7 rushing touchdowns, 4,300 passing yards. That's higher. What else we have here? Okay, let's keep it rolling. We're gonna put together a little bit of a list here. Okay, we're gonna put together a little bit of a list. 1 second. We got this. Lamar with 6.5 rushing touchdowns. I think that might be a less. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if he's gonna get that many rushing touchdowns. That's a lot. Who else we have here? Let's get to some running backs, huh? We was 33.5. I think he actually could eclipse 33. Okay. Anyway, let's get to some running backs. What do we have here? Where's Austin Eckler? 8.5 rushing touchdowns. I mean, I have a hard time thinking he won't. What is this? 1.5 100-yard rushing games. Man, these are some. I like these numbers. This is actually like quite interesting. All right, let me look. What else we have here? Okay, Derrick Henry. We'll take more on his rushing touchdown total. Listen, if Tony Pollard doesn't get another running back signed to this backfield, he's absolutely destroying 7.5 rushing touchdowns. Zeke had, what, 12 last season? That's alongside. I mean, come on. Mixon with only 800 rushing yards. How many times can I do this? Oh, that's 5? That's it? We're good? Okay, 5. Put together 5 legs. I'm going to just try to 20x. I'm trying to go mass. 500 is the maximum? Why? What could I do with 500? It would pay out 10 grand? Oh my God. Okay. Let's take it easy. Maybe we do 50. Is it 5? It paid out a grand? Okay, no. Let's, how about we do $5? Aha, it paid out 100. Hey, there we go. All right, now that one I'm interested in. Let's confirm that. Okay, there's my slip. All right. You see, we got to be, conservative to an extent. All right, guys. Anyway, you get the idea. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to head out. Until next time, appreciate you guys coming by the channel, clicking the like button, commenting every single time. Eckler gets the TDs. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think he probably does as well. Higher on Kelsey receptions. What was his number at? Let me type in Kelsey real quick. Kelsey's receptions, 95.5. To be honest, I'm kind of thinking more on his receiving touchdowns. The guy's had 10 or more receiving touchdowns in 4 out of the last 5 seasons. No more Juju, no more McCole Hardman. We're in business. Anyway, we should be good to go. Tomorrow, Breece Hall video includes Ramondre Stevenson comments, Zeke comments, Dalvin Cook. We'll talk about J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, a couple ideas regarding them. Appreciate y'all. We're going to go ahead and cue the music, and I'm going to be heading out. Until next time, where the heck is this monitor? Here it is. I will see you guys. Peace.